Hi guys, I am in the kitchen and I have ingredients set out for a great soup that I looked up on, actually I go to a really good website. It's called allrecipes.com. The other night I pulled out some hamburger, ground beef, and chorizo from my freezer. I've actually had this in the freezer since March of this year. I pulled those out and then I looked up my recipe today. This is some of the ingredients that will go into my recipe. And actually the recipe is called, it's a Mexican dish. It is Filipino beef and chorizo stew is what it says in parentheses. Caldereta, I think, is the name of the soup, but it calls for soy sauce. I did not buy any more soy sauce. I used the last of it up the other day, so I'm going to use 1/4 cup of Worcestershire. It's going to give this a different taste. Soy sauce and Worcestershire don't really, you can't change them, but that's what I'm going to do. So let's see what that is going to taste like. I'm going to cut some vegetables up. I'm going to get this going. We're going to cook it on either the chimney outside or the wood-burning stove in the garage. Okay, I thought I'd show you really quickly the stove that I work on. There's nothing in my pot right now. I'm getting it hot though for the beef that I'm going to cook. And I have some wood in here. I'm going to have to throw in some more wood to get this kind of really cooking good. And then I'm going to put my meat in there. I'm going to cook hamburger. The recipe calls for chunked beef. I am not using chunked beef. I'm going to use hamburger. So I'll throw that in the pan and get that going. Then I will take it out and put the chorizo in there. And I would like to try to cut my chorizo so it is in chunks instead of having it like fall apart, which it does for me a lot. And I'm out here right now. I'm cooking on my wood burner in the house. My husband is working on cleaning out gutters, doing leaves, so I'm not going to go outside right now. So that is how we're going to start this wonderful meal. Okay, I have the beef cooking in here, and it's not super hot. I have the beef cooking. I am going to add 1/4 cup of garlic, minced garlic. I minced this up myself. Took forever, but 1/4 cup of garlic and 1/4 cup of soy, or it was supposed to be soy sauce. I have Worcestershire sauce, and we'll see how this comes out. And I measured it because I also need white vinegar. So I will measure that into this. Everything was 1/4 cup. Drop that in there. Now, this recipe also calls for chorizo. I'm going to cook that up separately, and then I'm going to put it in because I'd like to try to cut it so it's in chunks. The hamburger, of course, is not in chunks. Bring you a little closer so you can get a little view. Okay. And again, here's my ash bucket here, but it's handy for us to keep the ash bucket there, and we empty this out when our coals are all, or our ash is all cool. But okay, I'm going to put the lid back on, and I will bring you back in just a few. Okay, now I'm outside and I put the chorizo up, and I will be cutting that. I put my meat aside. The meat was in this pot. What I need now is my olive oil in here, just a wee bit of olive oil, and then I'm going to put my onion and pepper. It's 1 green pepper and 1 onion. And this. Usually I only use 1 pan, but because I'm trying to get this all done and put it on video, I used 2 of my Griswolds. But ooh, that went right up my nose. I'm going to add my onion and pepper and let that kind of saute. I also cut up potatoes. The potatoes are, there are 3 potatoes. It called for 2 cups. 2 cups I realized was only 2 potatoes. And I only had 3 potatoes in my bag, so I just cooked them up. We'll let that saute for a few minutes, and I'll bring you back. Okay, I'm going to show you really quickly how I test to see if this is hot. I've been told by grillers that if you hold your hand down over your fire and you can hold it there for 5 seconds, that's kind of like a medium or a kind of warm. This here to me, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, isn't hot enough. I'm going to put this up a little higher, and the way to do that is to throw in more wood. So that's one way to test if your fire is hot. Another way to test it is your food cooking? No, my onions and my peppers, they're not really doing what they need to do. But always check your fire. You don't want to get too close to it. And the reason why I put my hand down is because this is a Dutch oven. If it was just a regular skillet, I wouldn't have had my hand so far down into it. So just kind of use that as a judge. And you can see I do have a little space here. I have an old grate from wherever we got that, I don't know. This grate here we got from quite a few years ago. Somebody was like throwing it away, and I think it belonged to their grill, so we took it, and it works really well. It has these legs, and we've used it out in fire pits and such like that, but we use it on our chimney. Just 2 bricks and our little grate. It works really well. If I need to, I could drop it down, but I'd rather not do that. It's a pain in the butt to take your bricks off when they're that hot, so I'm just going to add a little bit more fire. Well, the onions and peppers have been cooking for about 10 minutes. I threw in just 1 piece of wood, and it worked really well. Got it up to a good hot cook. And now I'm going to put in my beef and chorizo. If you've never had chorizo, it's just it's a sausage kind of thing. It's a Mexican sausage. It's really good. Oh boy. These pans get so heavy. And it's 1 pound of hamburger. Wow, it's hot too. 1 pound of hamburger and about 1 pound of chorizo. The recipe called for 2 pounds of meat and 1 pound of chorizo. Because I'm doing it with only 1 pound of beef, I added some veggies. Now I'm going to put in 2 cans of tomato sauce, and I don't have my own made up, so this is just a regular can of tomato sauce. 1, and here comes 2. I'm going to let that simmer and cook through, and then I'm going to put in my vegetables. Ouch, wow. That's really hot. Okay. That fire's really, just adding 1 piece of wood really got that fire going. Alright, now bring it over to get a look. This is really looking good, and like I said, it's a new recipe. And I found it on allrecipes.com. Doesn't that look good? And then I'll add potatoes, green beans, and corn in about 10 minutes, and I'll bring you back. Okay, this fire is ripping. It's been probably, again, another 10 minutes since I put in the sauce, and look at it bubble. Just one piece of wood really got this going. We love the chimney, and that's one of the reasons. It burns really good. The smoke, the fire goes right up the chimney, and it kind of makes that fire a little hotter, I think, because the chimney works so well. And that's why I didn't want to put it down, because I knew throwing more wood in was going to do the trick. So it is going really good. And I'm going to put in 1 can of peas. Now, if you haven't seen my video on cleaning the pantry, check it out. Because this can of peas was the only can of peas we had. And I'm going to move the camera down a little. And I had 1 can of corn left. And I need to drain this. So I'm going to drop that right over here. And then I have my potatoes. Put that in there. So I will end up going to the store and getting some more vegetables. I have a bunch of potatoes, but the canned veggies I don't have a lot of. Okay. Mix that around. And the recipe did not call for jalapenos, but I do have those. We had 2 cans of jalapeno peppers in the pantry. I thought I'd open one up. I do not like hot stuff, spicy, so I'm only going to put in just a little bit, just to give it a little bit of a zing. And the cans, I just watched my cat do something crazy, but anyway, I had 2 cans of the jalapenos. One was mild and one was hot. I am using a mild, and I don't even know if I want 1/4 of a cup. I'm going to put in 1 tablespoon, or excuse me, yeah, 1 tablespoon. And I think that would be hot enough. The rest of this I will save for another meal. Or I'll put it on the table when I serve this. This is all going to cook, and I might actually add 1 more can of tomato sauce. If I do, I'll let you know. And I'll bring it back when it's ready. The recipe says that it should cook for an hour and a half. So, I won't keep you waiting. I'll bring you back when it's done. Okay, I'm ready to plate this up, so let's see how good this is. Now, my husband is still out doing yard work and stuff, so I don't want to eat. Oh, I knew that was going to happen. There. I don't want to eat too much, but I am going to try this. And because it's kind of like a Southwest type meal, I grabbed out the tortilla chips, and I do have some cheese, and the only cheese I had was the cheddar cheese, so I thought I'd use that. But let's see what this is going to taste like. Now, I did add about a cup of beef broth. Let me turn the camera up a little bit. I put in, like I said, about a cup of beef broth. I didn't want to open up another can of tomato sauce, which I could have, but I chose to do that. When I upload the video, I'll try to remember to put in the actual recipe and how I kind of tweaked it. And this is a recipe that you can actually tweak yourself. You know, put in what you want. And, you know, kind of make it your own. But what I've noticed, it's more of a chili mix than it is soup. It is called, well, it's not even called soup, but now I'm not very good with my Spanish, but Caldereta, maybe? But I'm going to try it. Let's see. And I'm hoping it's not going to be too spicy hot. And it's been sitting out for a while. That's really good. Very good tomatoey taste, which my husband will love. That's really good. But it's not spicy. I probably should have added maybe even the whole can of jalapenos, and it was probably about 4 ounces, the can. But not wanting it to be too hot because I just can't deal with the hot. But this is very good. The hamburg and the chorizo just kind of mix together to make a really good taste. Definitely worth trying. If you've never had chorizo, it's like a sausage. It's really good. Definitely check it out. You can possibly buy it at your local grocery store. We do have a couple of different Mexican markets in this area that I get a lot of this really good food from. So you can check that out as well. But if you like the video, give me a thumbs up and give me a comment. If you try this recipe, definitely let me know about it. It's really good. Thanks for watching.